Okay, this is a second screencast over Chapter 6 review. We did just finish the first screencast with my third hour, and they're back again to finish the second screencast. So this one was our first one. We went through problems 1, 4, 6, I want to say 12, 15, and maybe one more. We're going to get rid of that. And what we're going to have to do here is we're going to have to open up our Chapter 6 review, so that we can take those notes directly on that. Since we've actually gone over most of these problems, we're going to skip down to number 17, 18 is where we left off. So let's go ahead and change our view. We're going to zoom in, and let's try 200 and see if that works. That's pretty big. I think that'll work. All right, so let's start on problem number 18. Once again, if anybody has any answers, wants to take any guesses, wild shots, are welcome to do that. Let me go back to my mouse mode because that changed the document. And now we're at 18. Let's try this again. And let's start writing. Taking a look at 18. We have negative 4t plus 12 is greater than or equal to 10, or we have 5t minus 14 is greater than negative 4. All right? Because this is an OR situation, what's that tell me my end result looks like?
The dots will be farther away.
Where are we going to be shading here?
In between. On the outside.
It's going to be going away from each other. Okay? So they said going out. Said that they're going to be going away from each other. That's what's important to realize once we get down to our number line. Now, in order to do that, we're going to have to look at them as two separate problems. So, let's look at problem number 1 on the left. We're looking at this one first. Negative 4t plus 12 greater than or equal to 10. What is the first thing I need to get rid of here? Go ahead.
You subtract the 12.
Subtract the 12, and I know that because I'm using opposite operations, so minus 12, minus 12. Keep in mind this is where our inequality is split. This side is 0. What's that leave?
14.
Negative 4t, and it's still going to be greater than or equal to 10 minus 12 is? Negative 2. Now we have a number multiplied with our variable. How do I get rid of a number multiplied with my variable?
Divide.
Division. So what am I going to divide by? Negative 4. And when I divide by negative 4, it's going to change my sign's direction. It was greater than or equal to. Now it's less than or equal to. And negative divided by negative makes a positive. And 2 divided by 4 reduces. The bottom is going to be positive 2, and the top is going to be two over 4 goes to 0.5 or 1 over 2. Now, hopefully we know where 0.5 is or where 1/2 is. What number does that go between? The 0 and the 1, right between here. It should be exactly between. And what type of circle are we looking for? Based from our sign. Closed circle, right here. And if we have that closed circle, which way would this shade? To the left, because my variable is less than that number. Okay? We're not going to worry about shading yet because we have to get this second situation on there. So let's take a look at our other situation. 5t minus 14 is greater than negative 4. How do I get rid of that 14? Plus 14. What I do to one side, I also do to the other. So now I have 5t is greater than negative 4 plus 14,
10.
Positive 10. And how do I finish solving? divide the 5, divide the 5. T is greater than 10 divided by 5 is 2. What type of circle is going to go on 2? Open. And which way does this shade? To the right, because my variable is greater than my number. So this one's going to go this way. And we mentioned before that this one was going to go this way. And to double check our answer, which way should they have shaded? Away from each other. Are they shading away? They sure are. Okay? Just to help out with pointing out that answer. Highlighted one way, highlighted the other, and we know we're correct. Any questions on 18? No questions on 18. So now we need to scroll down. We're going to move ourselves down on our paper. Let's look at 19 or 20. These two problems are very similar. You want to look at 19 or you want to look at 20? 20. So, third hour is chosen to go with 20. I'll get this out of the way of 20. What we need to do here is we need to set up the situation that's being descripted or described. So we're going to write this, and we're going to graph it. That's 2 steps. 1, 2. The temperature inside the room is uncomfortable if the temperature is lower than 60 degrees or higher than 75 degrees. So, if we're describing the temperature in the room, it has a bunch of different options, right? But we don't want it to be lower than 60, and we don't want it to go above 75. So let's write this out. My temperature is going to be, let's represent the bad situations here. Let's represent what we don't want, right? We don't want it to be lower than, or actually it doesn't say anything about being 60, so I suppose it can. The temperature inside the room is uncomfortable if the temperature is lower than 60 or higher than 75. So we got both situations. What happens next? We've got them graphed. Where do they have to go? Or if we got them written, sorry I gave you the answer. We got to go on the graph. So here's our graph. We're going to need a few dashes on our graph. What do you guys think is a good number to count by here? 5s. 5s? 5 sure sounds like a good idea. So let's go below 60. We'd probably go 50, 55, 60, 65, 70, 75, 80, and that's as good as it gets. What type of circle goes in this first situation? Open. And which way does it shade? To the left. We know that because my variable is lower than that number. Okay? How about my second situation? Open once again. And shaded which way? Because my variable is greater than, we go to the right. And we have both situations. Because it's an OR situation, how should they have shaded? Away. Are they shaded away? Sure are. Let's move on down. Talk about our next situation. Absolute value equations. All right? Absolute value means distance from 0. So how far away from 0 is a number that's 8 spaces away? R could be positive 8, and R as the second number could be negative 8. Remember when you have the absolute value signs with a positive number on the other side, then your result is just going to be set equal to the positive, set equal to the negative. Okay? If you have one that has outside terms, you got to get rid of those first, and then later on you'll get rid of the inside terms to solve this one. So how do I get rid of 3 and 1, or 3 and negative 5? Which one of these goes? The 5 needs to go first. How do I get rid of this 5? Plus 5, plus 5, cancels, leaves 3 with the absolute value of 2w plus 1, and that equals 1 plus 5 is 6. Got to get rid of the other outside term. How do I get rid of 3? Not subtract, but it's being multiplied. I'll divide it. Divide it. 2w plus 1 equals 6 divided by 3, which is 2. That's still in the absolute value. So now we're going to take the absolute value things away, and we'll have 2w plus 1 equals what?
2.
Equals positive 2. And we have the second situation, which is 2w plus 1 equals the negative 2. Once we solve each of these, we'll have our two answers. Minus 1, 2w equals 2 minus 1 is 1. Divide 2, and w equals 1/2. And then we'll subtract 1 over here. Subtract 1. 2w equals negative 3. When you divide 2 and divide 2, w equals negative 3 over 2. Okay? This is all we're able to get to for now. So my third hour is on their way to lunch. And let's do it.